Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 238 of the Ask the Coach show, where PingSkills helps you improve your table tennis. Today is Throwback Thursday, and we'll be talking about our trick serves video. Yes. In the questions, we talk about using your wrist for the forehand topspin, what bat Williams should use, and long backspin serves. I'm Jeff Plum. And as always, Super Coach Alois Rosario is here with me to answer your questions. Welcome, Alois.
Thank you, Jeff. And we're a little technical issues, but we're here and we're ready to roll.
We are indeed. It seems like the Google Q&A button is not working properly, so unfortunately, people won't be able to ask questions live on the show. Hopefully, they can still watch. But we've got a good show anyway, Alois, packed full of good stuff. So I'm sure people will enjoy it.
So we do.
Yes.
We do have a couple of viewers online. So if you're watching online right now and you have the ability to ask a question, just let us know.
Yes. I don't think they do, but if you do, ask a question. All right. This day in history, Alois, let's get straight into the best segment of the show.
I'm glad you've finally come to that realization. So 1940, birthday of Chuck Norris, a man that you emulate yourself on, obviously, Jeff. And and also in 1896, the first marathon was run and won by, I'll have to read this, Charleios Vasilakos. I'm guessing he was from Greece. And his time, 3 hours, 18 minutes. Pretty good. But
that is pretty good. What year was that?
1896. That was the first.
Done.
Yeah, the first Olympics, modern Olympics. So, and also, we always come back to it on this day, Alexander Graham Bell makes another appearance. The first phone call to Thomas Watson in 1876. There you go.
So that was the first phone call to Thomas Watson, or the first phone call and it happened to be to Thomas Watson?
It was the first phone call and it happened to be to Thomas Watson.
There you go. All right. Well done, Alexander Graham Bell.
He's on this every single day. I reckon that telephone thing is like, it's a bit overrated now.
Yeah. Who uses a telephone?
Exactly.
All right. Yesterday's PingSkills question of the day was, how old is too old to be a world-class player?
Yes, and Matt Massey has the correct answer, 47 years and 4 months old. No, well, he said that's just a guess. But Mark O'Reilly said 30. That's pretty young, really, given that Bowles. How old's Bowl? 35. So Thad said depends on the player's fitness. And Glenn O'Day said you should probably ask that 93-year-old lady who competed at the World Veterans Championships last year. So yeah, I think the message here I'm getting is that you can play table tennis for quite a long time, but at the top level, I reckon 30 to 35. I reckon 35 is just about where you start to draw the line. I think from about 25, maybe physically you start to decline with speed, etc. But you are gaining a lot in experience and knowledge and tactically, etc. But then I think once you get to about 35, I think it all starts to catch up with you. Akshat said his answer was dead. So, and that might be the best answer of all.
Indeed. Keep on playing table tennis till you die at a world-class level. Awesome. All right. Now, that moves us on to today's PingSkills question of the day, which is, what is the most difficult thing about table tennis? So get involved, jump on the PingSkills Facebook page, www.facebook.com/PingSkills, or onto the PingSkills blog at pingskills.com and let us know what is the most difficult thing about table tennis. Now, we are running the Power of Practice competition at the moment. This is where you pick a skill, the table tapper or the spin catcher, and practice it for 5 minutes a day. Send us your videos with the hashtag Power of Practice. And Alois, you've been working on the spin catcher. How is it progressing?
Yeah, I feel like I'm on, one of those yo-yo things, and I'm definitely on the stock market graph. So every day, one day I'm up, next day I'm down, next day I'm up, So yesterday was it was just an ordinary day, just I did my practice, didn't really achieve too much. Feel like I'm starting to plateau a little bit with my skill improvement. But I guess, that 5 minutes is now in the bank. It's a bit more experience I've got under my belt. Yeah, don't know. Yeah, a little bit low after yesterday's practice.
Okay.
What about you, Jeff? How's the table tapper?
Yeah, it's pretty good. But do you feel like you're ever going to get to the Marcus Freitas stage where you can just do like 4 in a row where you really rip a lot of spin and let it just on your bat and then catch it?
I reckon it's possible. I think I can, but I think it's going to take a lot longer now. The other interesting issue is just it's such a fine skill that the performance of your rubber at that time makes a big difference. I feel like yesterday was really humid, and I think that made a bit of a difference with the grip. It's such a fine squeak that you need to get on that ball. So I think, then to have the ability to do that under a lot of conditions takes a much bigger amount of time. Maybe you could do it, once, and maybe you can do it once under, perfect conditions. Yesterday was a little bit windy. I was doing it outside. There was a little bit of breeze as well, might have contributed as well. But so to be able to achieve that skill under all conditions, I think it's going to take a long time.
Okay, interesting. My table tap is going well. I worked on the backhand. I'm getting a little better at doing it on the backhand. And then I actually tried switching. But there's such little time between the ball hitting the table and coming back. It's really quite difficult. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do switching consistently. But we'll see. I'll keep practicing, and we'll see how far I get.
Yeah, can you do like 5 backhands, 5 forehands, something like that?
Oh, 5 backhands, then switch 5 forehands, maybe. Maybe. But I'm still haven't given up on just the switching, but I could try a few practices like that. Good thinking.
Yeah, and there's a bit of interest around. Still we're getting lots of videos, hearing lots of comments around town from different people about the spin catcher and the table tapper. So get on board and show us your efforts. And even if you
exactly, if you haven't started yet, still plenty of time. Pick the table tapper or the spin catcher. Start your practice. Send us your videos with hashtag Power of Practice. All right, Alois, it is, as I mentioned at the start of the show, Throwback Thursday. What are we talking about for this segment today?
Yeah, we're talking about one of our old videos, the Trick Serves video. So it was a bit of fun, really, the Trick Serves video that we did. It was, it's lots of long serves and trick serves and stuff. But I think the best thing is if you guys get on there, watch it, and I challenge you to not be saying yes after the video.
That's 90% of the comments on that video are just yes. It is quite funny. And a little guest appearance by a certain black and white creature in the stands as well, which people often comment about too. That's probably the other 10% of comments. So get on, take a look at the Trick Serves video, and if you can, try some of them yourself. It's all good fun. All righty. That means it is time for the questions. and the first one is about using your wrist for lifting backspin. And this is from Eugene. He says, when doing the forehand topspin against backspin, does using the wrist help lift the backspin easier? And if so, why?
Yeah, so the wrist will help because it increases the speed of your racket. So if I lift the bat like that, okay, it's moving at that pace. Now my arm's not changing speed, but now I'm using my wrist. So you can see now that the bat is moving a lot faster. So why is that better? Because it generates more friction, more speed to be able to lift that ball up and over the net. So especially if there's a lot of backspin on the ball, so that little bit of wrist will increase the grip and the rip and being able to lift that ball up and over the net. It's not something that I want you to go out and start your forehand topspin with. You know, you don't need to start with all this wrist, and I think it just adds to confusion and adds to inconsistency. So to start off with, yeah, you don't need to use your wrist too much. Just allow the bat to come through. You can then start to just relax your wrist a little bit more, and you'll see that it'll start to move through with the weight of the bat. So yeah, just focus on that. And then after a while, you can start to think about just utilizing your wrist a little bit more and bringing it through with the stroke. But yeah, don't focus too much on the wrist, especially at the start. But you know, if you're finding that you are finding it difficult to lift that backspin ball, you know, maybe you can just increase the use of the wrist slightly to help you with the lift.
Yeah, I've sort of seen, Alice, I don't think it's a real problem that you need to use your wrist to lift it, because you've got your whole arm and your legs and your waist, and so I think there's a lot of momentum. And often I see people using their wrist and they're concentrating totally on that, and the rest of their shot is just all off. They haven't got the right start position, the right finish position, and it's just kind of very wristy. And I've seen a lot of players use that, so I often worry when people start talking about using the wrist, because I think, like you said, it's much better if you concentrate on the start position, the finish position, you know, using your waist and your legs and all that kind of stuff seems to be, you know, easier for people to get right.
Yeah, definitely. That is the more important part of the stroke, is that arm and the body position. Yeah, that wrist is just, you know, a little bit of added extra. And you're completely right, Jeff. I see a lot of players, when they start to think about, okay, I'm going to use my wrist, this happens. Yep. And that just doesn't cut it. You just can't play a proper forehand topspin stroke if you're not starting and finishing in the right position with your arm as well. So the arm is first, the arm action is first, and then you can add a little bit of wrist to that exact same arm action. Don't try to change the arm action with it.
Okay, so yeah, if you are thinking about your wrist, you must make sure you're still getting that nice, good start and finish positions. All right, thanks for the question, Eugene. Next up is a question from William about the Marlin Extra. He says, I've been planning to get a Yasaka Marlin Extra Offensive with Mark V rubber, but my question is, can it do chops? I like to occasionally do chops, but I don't quite know if Mark V rubber and this blade can do it that well.
Yeah, so the Mark V rubber, firstly, is a good all-round rubber, and you can chop with it, you can topspin with it, you can block with it. So if you're a player that's been playing for 6 months, 12 months, you're starting to establish your strokes pretty well with a pre-made bat, then that Mark V rubber can be really a good next step. So you can chop with the ball. It's not too fast. But one of the other reasons I wanted to put this question up on here was a few people made comments on there that, well, Marlin doesn't chop, so it can't be good for chopping. Let me tell you, Marlin probably hasn't used Mark V for about 20 years. So, you know, when people name these blades and the rubbers and all those sorts of things, don't think that they're actually using these things. They're just putting their name to this equipment. So, yeah, I think we often get, you know, drawn in by those sort of advertising and those sort of gimmicks. So, yeah, Marlin, magnificent player, definitely doesn't use Mark V.
Certainly not. Yeah. And it is difficult for people, Alois, because there's so many choices. So when you come to pick a bat, it's like too much information. I don't know what to get. And I can see why people just want to know more and just ask questions to try and get the right information. But in the end, you know, a lot of these rubbers are all similar. As long as you get a reputable brand and pick something, you're going to be fine. You know, I know that's not easy for people to understand with so many choices, but, you know, you can't go too wrong if you stick with something that's reputable. And as we talk about in our how to choose a table tennis bat that matches your level.
Yeah, I think so. And Jeff, I think, yeah, we got drawn into this on a different topic, didn't we? We were looking at cameras and we were, you know, Jeff and I spent, you know, months talking about, oh, should we get this camera? Should we get that camera? Should we do this? Should we do that? And we actually sent a question to someone. I can't even remember who it was, Jeff. We sent a question to someone about cameras. And you know what they came back with? They said, you know, really doesn't matter too much. Just choose something reasonable in your range and just go for it. And we sort of sat there and we laughed at ourselves because, you know, we get these questions about table tennis equipment all the time, and we think, oh man, you know, what are these guys so worried about with all these different rubbers and things? But we understand your pain, but you know, yeah, it really doesn't make a lot of difference, like the cameras.
Indeed, that was funny. Yes. All right. Well, let's get off equipment and on to long backspin serves. The next question says, I see that people mostly mention short serves with different spin, variations, and fast long serves with top spin or no spin. But what about a long and fast backspin serve? Can it be effective? And how to make the backspin serve really fast if possible? Yeah. And that question was from Ilya.
Yep. Thanks, Ilya. So the long, fast backspin is a difficult serve. Why? Because by putting backspin on the ball's going to tend to float a little bit. It's not going to, so with the top spin, it'll dip down quickly. With the float, it's going to tend to float a little bit, and it can go off the end of the table really easily. So you do have to practice this one a lot. You've got to get it really precise if you're going to get that long and fast backspin serve. Really crucial to get the first contact close to you on your side of the table. So it needs to be really fast, really close to you to give the ball plenty of time to go up over the net and then come down again on the other side. If you get that backspin first bounce, you know, mid-table or closer to the net, there's no chance of it taking off in time, clearing the net and then coming back down again. So that's probably the most crucial part about a long backspin serve. Get the contact, the first bounce really close to your side on the first bounce.
And yeah, if you do this well, Alois, it is a really effective serve. It comes quick. If people are looking to return a short serve, they can be a bit off balance. And that backspin, they need to lift it. So they need to be in a good position. So yeah, I really like the long, fast backspin serve as a surprise weapon.
Yeah, and I suppose the other thing to emphasize here is that you're not trying to put a bucket load of backspin on it. You don't have to put, you know, like the same amount of backspin as you would for a slow serve. The speed and the little bit of backspin really act as a force to drag the ball down into the net off your opponent's bat. So it's just a little bit of backspin, a lot of speed, and it is really effective. It drops down off the bat really quickly.
Yeah, it is good. I still think, the heavy backspin is an option, but as you said, the more backspin you put on it, the slower you've got to make that serve because of that floating action. So I guess it's just weighing up, get out there, practice, experiment with different amounts of spin, different amounts of speed, and just see how fast you can make it. And one good idea, Alois, is actually, in practice, try and serve the ball off the end of the table just so you get a bit of an idea about how hard you have to hit the ball to actually serve it off the end.
What are you talking about, Jeff? You want me to try and miss?
Yeah, absolutely. Just so you get the feel, because a lot of people are think they're serving it long, but it's only bouncing halfway up the other side of the table.
Yeah, no, it is. You're absolutely right, Jeff. It's a really good a learning tool when you're practicing is to just see where the limit is at the end of the table. So I see it so often. People practice their long, fast serves, and they will never ever serve one off the end of the table. So if you don't do that, you just don't know the scope of how fast you can actually serve it before it goes off the end. So yeah, so definitely, if you're not serving, 10%, 20% off the end of the table when you're trying a long, fast serve, then you're really missing out on exploring the range of where you can get to.
All right, there we go. So get out, practice your fast serves, and try and serve a few off the end. All right. Good one, Alois. That wraps up show 238. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And make sure you go to pingskills.com and sign up for our free account where you can watch all our videos and get our newsletter. And thank you, Alois.
Thanks, Jeff. And we will see you tomorrow for Friday Funnies. Yes.
Awesome. Can't wait. See you, everyone. Have a great day.